Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tosin. In today's video, I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to cut a palazzo trouser with rope. So the first thing I'm doing here is to mark the full length of my trouser. The full length I'm using here is 40 inches. Please note that I left 1.5 inches up before marking the full length of my trouser. This 1.5 inches is going to serve as the band of my trouser. So after marking it, I'm going to put in a straight line, mark a straight line, just so that it can indicate the full length. Thereafter, I'm going to mark out the horizontal measurement, starting with my hip line. That's my hip measurement, then my crotch line, then also my knee line. All these measurements are what I'm marking presently is my hip measurements. Get the crotch measurement. Here I'm making use of my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches. That is what gave me my crotch depth. So here 42 inches divided by 4 plus 2 inches. This 2 inches is just to make it very free because I want the palazzo pants to be free. So once I'm done with that, I was supposed to mark my thigh measurement, but I forgot here, but I eventually marked it. You see it later in the course of the video. My thigh measurement here is 4 inches after my crotch depth, 3 or 4 inches after my crotch depth. What you see me marking here presently is my knee measurement, not the thigh measurement. I'm presently marking the knee measurement, and the measurement I use for my knee is 20 inches. Usually for most people, it is usually between 19, 20 and 21. You measure it on your clients, on the body of your client. That is how you get your knee measurements. So once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and insert my hip measurement, the quarter of my hip measurement. That's my hip measurement divided by 4. I will insert it on my hip measurement. That's the vertical lines that are there, those lines where you see me indicating. I'll draw a straight line. Then I'll also go ahead to get my crotch depth measurement. To get my crotch depth extension rather, I use 2.5 inches. This really depends on how big the person is. Then I curved this out. That was how I got my crotch extension. Then I also extended this same measurement to my knee measurement, but here I decided to mark the midpoint so that I'll get the middle of the trouser. That is what I used to get the midpoint of my trouser. You can either use your hip measurements or divide your crotch, whatever measurements you have on your crotch extension, you divide it into two. But here I use my hip measurements to get the midpoint. So I'm just trying to mark out the midpoint, then I would connect everything together. The circumference of my knee measurement is what I'm trying to get here. So you must have measured this on your clients. Whatever you have, you divide it by 2. Whatever you have, you divide it by 2, then you divide it by 2 again. Whatever you get, you share it between those two, in between that straight line. So for example, if you have like 10 inches, you divide it into 2, then 5 inches to the right, 5 inches to the left. I hope you understand. Then I also go ahead to insert the measurement for my ankle circumference. Whatever, however you want it to be, if you want it to be big or small, that's the circumference of the ankle. I'm just extending that midpoint so that I also divide the measurement the same way I did for my knee circumference. Can you see it? I'm dividing it equally. So here I'm still working on the circumference of my ankle measurements. I felt it was too big, so I decided to reduce it. It's a palazzo trouser, so you can make it as big as you want or as small as you want. It depends on you. But palazzo is usually big. So I just decided to reduce my own and cut it out by 1 inch each. Then that's it. Remember I said that I forgot to insert the time measurement, so that was what I did earlier on. Then I extended my crotch extension measurement by 2 inches. I also extended all this for the back piece. So I'm presently cutting the back piece. So I extended everything by 2 inches each. So for the pockets of my trouser, I did 2 inches by 7 inches. 2 inches by 7 inches. Please note that I'm only cutting the front piece. For the pocket I'm going to attach, I cut out 10 inches by 12 inches. 10 inches by 12 inches. This also really depends on how big you want your pocket it is rather. Then I went ahead to cut it into the shape that the front piece of the trouser has. So here I'm done joining the trouser. It's time to fix the band. So I measured everything here, and that is what I'll use to cut out my band. Here I've cut out my elastic, and also I also cut out the band that I would put inside my band. So just watch how I inserted the elastic into the band. So once I'm done with that, it's time to insert the rope. For the rope, I cut out a long strip of 60 inches. Then I burnt the edges of the rope so that it wouldn't frail. Then after that, for my trouser, the midpoint of my trouser on the front part, I went up by 1.5 inches for both sides. Then I cut it open. Like I created a small hole there. 1.5 inches to the right, 1.5 inches to the left. So then once I'm done with that, I use my needle, my safety pin rather, to insert the rope inside. So that's it with our palazzo pant trouser. Thank you so much for watching. Please do well to subscribe, like, and share this video. Bye.